This series of videos will be dealing with chemistry, some of the most basic concepts of chemistry before we move on to more complex forms where we write balance equations or find molarity, understand laws of combination and all. Before doing that, we need to refresh or recap all the basic concepts of chemistry. So this series of videos will be dealing with this, and this video in specific would be dealing with what exactly is chemistry and what is matter. So I personally find chemistry as one of the most interesting or easy to understand field of science, because chemistry is the study of things that happen around you: burning of wood, rusting of nail, energy produced in your body, all of these chemical reactions that take place around you. It's because of chemistry. So understanding chemistry basically improves your vision, your perspective towards life. You gain a more scientific perspective. You start to understand things scientifically happening around you. So chemistry, what exactly is chemistry? Before I define chemistry myself, I would encourage you to pause the video and list out at least 5 objects that you see at the first glance in your room. Okay, so among some of these things or objects that you have noted down in your book, you might find they will be having different mass, different colors, different shapes, different everything, different structure, etc., different purpose. But what could be at least one common thing that all of them will have in common? If you ask chemists, they would say all of them will have mass, and all of them will occupy space. So what do you mean by mass? Mass is the amount of material in a substance. So to understand this, let me give you a very easy to understand analogy. If you take a balloon and fill it with water, the cover of the balloon becomes the substance, and the water filled inside it becomes the material. So the amount of material, that is the amount of water in the balloon, becomes the mass of the balloon. Easily understand that way. Amount of material in a substance is known as mass. Now what do we mean by it occupies space? When we say occupy space, it means that it simply holds some place on earth. If you take a calculator, it holds some place, and since it holds space, it occupies space, we can observe it. If you want to put it in more scientific terms, it occupies space in the 3 dimensions that we know of, that is the height, the length, and the width. So when an object is placed between this and occupies some of these coordinates of the height, length, and width, we say that it occupies space. So this is the more scientific definition, what I think would be more satisfying to define occupying space. So when objects have mass and occupy space, the chemists have named such objects as matter. And chemistry itself is the branch of science which deals and which studies matter, how it behaves, how it interchanges, how it reacts with different things, what are the conditions under which it can react. All these things comes under chemistry. So next point I would like to mention here is matter, that we know has mass and occupies space. The very first division that we can make in matter is under physical division, that is, we can see these physical features of matter. Matter is widely classified into 3 groups. First is the solids, second is the liquids, and third is the gases. Now we need to remember that this is very importantly just the physical properties, physical division, what I can say. We call it physical division because physical is something that we can measure. We can measure and express in terms of number, which we can see happening. The book, that's a physical thing, but atoms combining together, that's a very chemical thing that happens. So physical is you can literally make out these things. If you see something, you can say that's liquid, that's gas, that's solid, or whatever it is. Now these are physical divisions of matter. But what gives these physical divisions? They are properties. Now we need to understand that all the properties that comes under physical divisions are because of the arrangement of their molecules. Arrangement of molecules. We'll see what are molecules in more depth in some of the next videos, but presently let me define it in brief. Molecules are some of like balls or something that I can define that when comes together in millions forms objects. So when these ball structures, such bally structure, round structures come together in millions, these are the ones which form different objects. Your cell phones are made up of millions and billions and trillions. I don't know what quantity to use here. Zillions could be, I don't know. So arrangement of molecules, these molecules, how they are arranged, these gives matter its physical properties. So what do we mean by that? If you take solids like for example wood and take it under microscope, very highly advanced microscope, we will find that the molecules, atoms, whatever it is, they are arranged very packed. There is no much space between the atoms or molecules, whatever you would like to say. They're not same, but you can just say it here because we have not defined it yet. So solids, this is how the arrangement is in solids. Now if you see liquids, the arrangement is kind of similar, but only difference is they are just a little bit free here, just a little bit freedom here. And if you see gases, they are totally free. So this is how molecules are arranged in solids, liquids, gases. If you see here, the molecular space, the intermolecular space is very less. Here it's comparatively bigger and here it's really large, the intermolecular distances. So if you try to pass a pen through a pen, it will never pass because one atom cannot pass through this atom. If you see liquids, if you try to mix juice and water, they will get mixed easily because the molecular space is comparatively higher here, intermolecular space. But you need to stir it a little bit, just a little bit effort is required here because it's not yet too big. So it will get mixed, but we need to put some effort. But if you see in gases, they will get mixed without any effort. They will simply occupy the entire room, get mixed evenly, and this property is actually known as diffusion, which we'll discuss on later. So these are different types of matter, divisions in matter, physical divisions, solids, liquids, and gases. And these divisions are basically because of the arrangement of molecules.